last time we watched episode 1 to 3, which were pretty good. And now, like 2 or 3 days ago, we watched the 7th episode, so I'm all caught up now. I'm really excited for episode 8 and the finale. But anyways, let's talk about it. So, I'm going to be really honest. Episodes 4 till 7 until now have become like one big pile of a blur from which I remember a lot of things, but not every detail. So this might be not the most detailed video, but I'm gonna try my best to cover as much as I can. So we have finally seen the clown, and oh my god, I was so hyped to see Pennywise return. He was so cool. Just massive spoiler alert, by the way. I'm gonna be talking about every single detail. again, it's the perfect balance between that's creepy and that's really funny, and it's like smashed in there. I fucking loved it. So he begins his creepy walk towards a woman. He's like, "Here, take my hand." And then new Richie, who is that little tiny kid, he turns around and he looks at him eating that poor woman he was trying to help. And they're like, "What the fuck?" So Hadron gets face to face with Pennywise, and Pennywise like summons these like dead people. And it's this really cool scene. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So then they get the hell out of there, but the ceiling starts to collapse. So new Richie and this other kid, and I'm not entirely sure what her name is, they get trapped, and he has this really big hero moment where he puts her in like a box and sits on top of it so she can't get out, and he saves her life. And in the process of doing that, he dies. Like, kids dying left and right in this show. But like, that was a really big moment, and I would have preferred, like, of course I would have preferred if he stayed alive, because I actually like his character. Well, I have no idea what the actor's name is, but he's doing a great job. So the entire place burns down, and while the place is burning down and the men of Derry are leaving, one of them, Mr. Kirsch, his car doesn't start, so he starts to check it out, but then he sees like his wife, Mrs. Kirsch, in his creepy ass clown outfit, walk out of the forest, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And then she says, "Daddy," and he turns around and he sees Pennywise with his really big cleaver, and Pennywise just slashes his head like sideways, clean through the middle, and he catches it, and she's like amazed because, wow, this guy who looks exactly like my dad just got a man in half. Great, we love that. So then he just starts to eat the man's face while she's looking at him, and she's like getting this weird look, and then he says, or Pennywise says, "Oh, I'm sorry, do I have face on my face?" And you can tell that this guy is just a menace. He's just so funny. He's so funny. So like, he's like, and then he spreads his arms and he's like, "Come to Daddy," or to Papa, and I'm not entirely sure, but I took that way out of context. Anyways, so then he's like, "Okay, I'm really tired. I'm gonna go to sleep." And she's like, "No, don't leave me, please, no." And so he starts to walk away, and she grabs him by the arm and he says, "No, don't abandon me." And he turns around and he's looking at her like really agitated. So, and then she finally figures out that the murderous clown isn't her actual father. Who would have thought? So he then rips open his like big face mouth, revealing the deadlights, and he makes her fly like Beverly in the first movie, you know. And then she gets mind fried and gets found by the police the day after. So Pennywise finally went to sleep. But in the meantime, the people of the government have found one of the pillars that is keeping him locked in Derry. Also, fun detail: the container, the pillars are kept in, are turtle shaped, because Pennywise's main like enemy is a turtle. I'm trying to catch up on that like little bit of lore aspect, but I'm still figuring everything out. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But I found that that's a fun detail. A lot of turtles in this show, by the way, so you'll see that coming back a couple times. But like, the government's whole plan is it's a really stupid plan, but to make the people of America more connected or less violent, is to release Pennywise out of Derry, so he can basically get an American buffet of all the people who live in America, and he's gonna use him to see him actually sit there in like a pool of blood, and then William's on the phone, and he's like, I can't hear you, and he jumps all covered in blood from his fridge, and he scares the shit out of him. And that's the end of episode 7. So the